again, and good morning from Jacob's Homestead. Today I'm going to be making a video of canning some tomatoes that I had. So stay tuned and see you in a bit. Okay, so I already diced up my tomatoes. First you have to score them, get all the rotten spots out. Like I had a couple left, but if you see there's some like rotten spots, so you cut all that out, get them all ready in a bowl, and then you take them over to a pan and dip them in hot water. I already finished that, so I'm showing you. You put them in the hot water just for about a couple of minutes, just till the skins start to curl up on them. Then you dump them in cold water, which is this pan, to cool off. And then you peel them. Okay, that's what the peelings are. And the pieces that I cut out that were rotten or just old or whatever, too hard, I just put them in a big bucket and I give those to my chickens. But now, and this is after I finished peeling them, I diced them all up. These are going to be stewed tomatoes, so if you can see them, I'm waiting for a battery to come in for my camera because the battery I have won't charge anymore. So I have to use my phone. But this is the stewed tomatoes, and I'll get back to you in a few minutes when I'm ready to put them in the jars. Okay, I got my jars sterilized and my lids, and I'm getting ready. I put this cover over the tomatoes, tablecloth, just to keep the fruit flies. If you've done any canning this time of year in fall, you always get fruit flies. And then I got some fresh basil and garlic I'm going to put in my jars as I do each one. So we're getting everything ready. Jars are sterilized. This is sterilized. And when you get your pressure canner ready, you've got to make sure you put, well, I do it anyways, whether you have hard water or not. It's always good to put a little bit of vinegar, like a tablespoon or so, in your water before you put the jars. Okay, I got my jars done and we're ready to pack. First, I'm going to start with, I usually use just a little bit of salt, like just about that much. I use iodized sea salt. Put that in the jar first. And then we'll start scooping the tomatoes. I'll try to stand back a little bit. Whoop. I have a plastic knife to poke. Okay, there. I guess I'll leave that on the side. Okay, so I'll put a couple of scoops in. And then I'll go over and get a couple of leaves of my fresh basil. Sprigs. Try to do this with one hand. Should have separated them first. Okay. So we'll put a couple of sprigs of fresh basil, and then a little juice, and some more tomato. Then I'll go over and grab a couple of garlic and put those in there, because I figure if I'm in a situation where I need it and I don't have garlic and basil, I'm Italian. Even though my last name is Jacobs, my husband's not Italian, but I am. And I have to have my garlic and my basil in tomato sauce. I think I put too many in there. 1 second. Okay, I had to get a fork because I put a little bit too much in there and I don't want it to overflow. So we'll put this in the next jar. And then this jar here, we're going to wipe the top. I like to use paper towel because it's more sterile than clean. And okay, so clean the top. Get a lid. Put it on top. I forgot to mention you should poke it. I did that, but I will do it again just to show you. You can just poke it, make sure there's no ear. Use a plastic knife so you don't chip the glass. And since I poked it again, I'm going to wipe it again around the top. And I'll put the lid back on without touching the inside. Sorry. Well, I'm just waiting for my new battery from eBay for my camera, and then it won't be so up close. So I'll have to pause that. Okay. Now we're going to put this in the canner. So I have 2 in there so far, and I'll finish filling the rest so you don't get bored. Got all my jars in there and packed, and I did kind of cold pack them. They weren't ice cold, but they were kind of just regular temperature. So I put regular temperature in the pan, and then I'm going to put the cover on. But before I do, I want to show you something. You see this spout here? Right here. Sorry. Okay. Make sure you can see light through it or water comes through it, whichever canner you have. Because if you don't, that's when people can have pressure buildup and you can have trouble with a pressure canner. But as long as you can see through it, you run water through it, blow through it, make sure it's all set and it's not plugged, then you should be fine, okay? I'm going to set this up, and then we're going to, once it comes to 10 pounds of pressure, then we're going to, and it's jiggling, we'll let it blow steam. Well, when the steam starts coming out of this hole here, okay, right there, you got to let it blow for about 10 minutes, and then you do the pressure, and when it comes up to 10 pounds, then you and it starts jiggling and you hear that jiggle steady, then you start your timer for 20 minutes, okay? And then we'll come back and see how that goes. Okay, we got it all set. Now I'm going to turn the stove on and we'll see how that does. And we'll get back and check it in a little bit. Can you see the steam coming out of there? Okay, you see how hard it's coming? It's got to do that for like 10 minutes. And then you put the jiggler on, and I'll show you what that is. Okay, so we put the jiggler on. This is what I call the jiggler. Okay, you put that on over that. That's where that pressure was, okay? And this button here came up, so now it's time. And then as soon as this thermostat here gets to 10 pounds, okay, and then that's when you'll hear that jiggle. As soon as it starts steady jiggling, then you time 20 minutes. So we'll come back in a little bit. So my tomatoes are finished. I actually got 10 jars from the tomatoes, and I added my basil and garlic to them. And so I did 7 in the first batch, and I had only 3 jars for the second batch, so I cut up some carrots and filled that in instead of wasting boiling for nothing, and I threw in 4 actual quarts of carrots. So thank you. And so if you like this video, give us a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and thank you for watching. If you get a chance, check out some of the other videos we have out here.